Hi, good afternoon, thank you. We are, as previously announced, the An-sky Yiddish Heritage Ensemble, performing and presenting musical traditions of the Yiddish people of Eastern Europe and much of the world at this point. Jewish Eastern Europe is what we're about, and we are here courtesy of both the Kennedy Center and we're here for the Smithsonian Folklife Festival, which is going on all week on the Mall, as many of you know, and so come down and partake of all the cultural riches from around the world that are going on there. We're going to continue with a song that says, "Outside it's raining," which it's not yet doing. And the stones are already wet. You promised that you'd marry me, and I'd never have anything to worry about again. A song that, right? It's a song of it's a reality show. In draußen geht der Regen, am linker Regen, die stehen da, lachen seinen scheuen aus. Die stehen da, lachen seinen scheuen aus. Hui, die hast mir jetzt gesagt, hat die West mich nehmen, ich soll kein Mal nicht haben, kein Fahrer daraus. Tariam, tararariam, tararam, mai dariam. Tariam, tararariam, tararam, hai tararam. Sie gedenkst du, wir sind beide gegangen, in draußen not geweht der Wind, in draußen not geweht der Wind. Hoi, die hast mir sie gesagt, hat was macht nehmen, bis hit noch mir, wer hat noch ein Kind. Tariam, tararariam, tararam, ai tariam, tariam, tararariam, tararam, ai tararam. Sie gedenkst du, wir sind beide gegangen. Du sagst, sie gesucht, euch Hosni haben vor mir. Du sagst, sie gesucht, euch Hosni haben vor mir. Hoi, die hast mir sie gesucht, die was macht nehmen. Ich such ma Wabele, dann Moment ma Schnier. Tariam, tararariam, tararaidamam, tariam, tariam, tararaidam, tararaidamam, taradam. Sie gedenkst du, wir seien beide gegangen, in draußen not geweht der Schnee, in draußen not geweht der Schnee. Hoi, die hast mir gesagt, die was macht nehmen, in sich leben wie die Tabalach zwei. Tariam, tararariam, tararaidadam, ariam, tararariam, tararadan, tararabam, 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 tararabam. Thank you.
See. So this song is a satirical song, and it's about the Rebbe, the teacher, and his wife. And the sexton says, you know, what do you like? What do you want? Do we have to please you? And he says, Latkes mit Schmalz. Pancakes with goose fat. And the next one is, so the Rebbe with the Rebbitzin, the teacher and his wife should be healthy in their throats.
This is a pre-vegan approach to health.
And then it's a tellerel mit yoich, a bowl of clear consommé. And so the
AKA chicken soup. Right.
so the Rebbe and the Rebbitzin should be healthy in their belly. And the third is a teller mit fish, a bowl of fish. So the Rebbe and the Rebbitzin should be healthy in the feet. It rhymes in Yiddish.
Right.
See?
Right. It's nutritional health meets podiatry.
Gabe, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, mir soll ihm der Langen, wo's Latkes mit Schmalz, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbitzin soll sein gesund in Hals. Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam. Gabe, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, wir sollen der a teller mit Joi, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbitzin soll sein, a gesund in a Boy. Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam. Gabe, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, wir soll ihm der Langen, wo's a teller mit Fisch, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbitzin soll sein gesund in die Fisch. Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Shabbos bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam. Try it. Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam. Liko vid Shabbos bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Yonte bim bam bam bam, Liko vid Shabbos bim bam. Thank you.
That was just for exercise. Hi, it's such a thrill to be here at the Kennedy Center. Maybe I'll just introduce the band real quick. To my far left, Ethel Rame. Ethel and I are, I'm Pete Rashevsky, by the way. Ethel and I have an organization in New York City called Center for Traditional Music and Dance, www.ctmd.org if you want to check us out. And we've worked for 45 years to preserve immigrant performing arts in New York City. Ethel's co-founder of the organization and our artistic director. And we've worked for many of those years with the gentleman to my immediate left, is really, truly one of the giants of what we know as the klezmer revitalization over the last 40 years, Michael Alpert. So it's real thrilled to be here with Michael. To my right here, this young gentleman is, for my money, the world's greatest klezmer musician under the age of 30. I can still say that for a few more weeks. It'd embarrass him. The boy chick here is Jake Solmankind, but he's really already established as a wonderful international artist, which is great. Let's see. one thing it's a real thrill to be here in Washington. Washington is a special place for this instrument that I play. This instrument is called the cymbal. It's a really fun word to say, actually. It's sort of like a thimble that you put on your finger so you don't poke yourself when you're sewing. But instead of the th, it's a tsa, a ts, which is the Hebrew or Yiddish letter tzadi. So let's we'll do 1, 2, 3, and everybody can say the word cymbal, okay? Because it's a really fun word to say. 1, 2, 3, cymbal. Oh, that wasn't bad. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's one more time. I mean, we came all the way up from New York to do this concert. 1, 2, 3, cymbal. Very nice. You've spoken Yiddish already tonight. But cymbal is it's a very important instrument in Washington, D.C. history, actually, music history, which you might not know. First of all, this is the traditional hammered dulcimer of the Yiddish world, but across its cultures in Eastern Europe. In Hungary, they know it as the cymbalum. It's like the national instrument of Hungary. Romania, it's the tsambal. It's all through these territories, these countries. Unfortunately, when immigrants came from Eastern Europe to America, the cymbal was sort of seen as an old world instrument. And the New World Jews wanted to play jazzy instruments like clarinets and saxophones and things like that, and have brassy sort of bands. So unfortunately, the cymbal fell out of use for a long time until it was revived by a few different musicians in beginning in the 1970s. But really, maybe the last great player of the instrument was a man named Joseph Moskowitz. And Joseph Moskowitz, he was a virtuoso on this instrument. When he came to this country, he was born in Galatz, which is a town sort of where the Danube flows out into the Black Sea. When he came to this country, he realized he couldn't really make it as a cymbal player. And so he opened up a series of restaurants on the Lower East Side, and he would play in the restaurants. The most famous of these restaurants was a place called Moskowitz and Lupowitz's. Does anybody remember Moskowitz? Raise your hand if you ever went to Moskowitz and Lupowitz's. Oh, I see someone in the back, but maybe they're looking for a seat in the back. I don't know. But it's a very famous restaurant on the Lower East Side of New York. Politicians
Party of
would go
12
there,
and, right.
movie stars, theater stars, and things like that. Later in his life, Moskowitz came to Washington, D.C., and he was playing for a long time at a restaurant called Michel's, which was a French restaurant on Vermont Street near DuPont Circle. Anybody remember Michel's? Sounds familiar? No? Okay. No luck in this crowd. So it's very interesting. It's true. We've recently learned that at Michel's, he would be frequented when he was playing there by a young congressman. A young congressman from California would come in, and usually come by himself, but he would always want to make sure that Moskowitz was playing there. He really loved Moskowitz's music. Well, few years later, they realized that that congressman had gone on to become vice president and then president. His name was Richard Nixon. So Richard Nixon was a great fan of this cymbal player named Joseph Moskowitz. So if that doesn't say a lot for Washington music, I don't know what. I mean, that's a great piece of Washington music lore. So I'm going to play a tune right now we know from Joseph Moskowitz that was recently found by Matthew Barton at the Library of Congress. It was something that Moskowitz had performed on national radio back in 1936, and it was a composition of his called Oriental Motifs.
Ein, zwei, drei.
Let's hear it for Joseph Moskowitz, a Washington, D.C. music legend.
And Pete
Thank you.
Ruszewski. Okay, we can't back up, so let's just go forward. Okay, we're going to do a suite of lullabies. And what's so nice about the lullabies, they're so varied, and in text and what they mean and what's being conveyed. The first one is one where a father will go out and get a bird for his child, and then he'll get a flower for his child. And it's a song that was actually collected by Mordechai Schechter when he was in a DP camp on his way to this country. Mordechai was one of the most important Yiddishists in this country. And there's a wonderful story of when he went into the army, and from the bunk below, he heard someone say, "Oy vey." And he says, "Men redt Yiddish?" And it turns out that the person that he said this to was the brother of a very dear friend who was actually in the Penny Whistlers, Izzy Rothman. And so it was wonderful that they could speak Yiddish throughout that whole time. So he collected that song. The next one is Dreifa Solmankind, which we learned from his mother, who had a prodigious repertoire, was a fantastic singer, and she sang like breathing. It was just flowed out of her, and she was recorded heavily in 1954 by Label Khan, and the recordings are wonderful. And she learned this from a hurdy-gurdy player, so instead of it being a nice, slow lullaby, it's kind of zippy. And it's about Dreifa, who was Captain Dreyfus, who was wrongly accused and killed. And she says, yes, Dreifa mein Kind, she's sort of talking to her child, and the way I kind of interpret it is, you know, be strong. Yes, Dreifa was killed because he was a Jew, but you'll be strong, and that's because you're a Jew. It's very sweet. And the next one is a slow lullaby, and it's really a mother who is not only loving, but she will derive tremendous benefit because of the wisdom and religiosity of her child. And so she says, when it's time for me to go, the doors of heaven will open wide, and they'll say, let in the scholar's mother. It's really beautiful. Okay, I think I need a B. Haida lulu sheininke, haida lulinkun, haida lulu kleininke, haida lulinkun. Der Vater, der ist in Waldeweg, mein Kind. A Fegel wird bringen dir, a Fegele, mein Kind. Haida lulu kleininke, haida lulinkun, haida lulu scheininke, haida lulinkun. Der Tate ist in Felderweg, mein Kind. A Blimel wird bringen dir, a Blimele, mein Kind. Haida lulu kleininke, haida lulinkun, haida lulu scheininke, haida lulinkun. mir klingen, heida lululu. Wo's mein Mame pfleg mir singen, bei mein Wiegale. Ai, lila lula, die ganze Welt singt echt das Liederle. Hab kein Meure, Dreifa Solmankind, vergesst nicht, dass sie bist da Iderle. Was in Frankreich hat dort passiert, weiß da jeder ganz geht. Man hat verurteilt Kapitän Dreyfus, nur der Fall, weil ist ein Jid. Ai, lila lula, die ganze Welt singt echt das Liederle. Hab kein Meure, Dreifa Solmankind, vergesst nicht, dass sie bist da Iderle. Wenn ich wollt gehört dem Kaiser Seuzeres mit sein ganzem Liche, wollt es nicht geben bei mir Niche, wie die bist bei mir Niche, mein Kind, mein Kräun. Wenn ich der sehe, weiß ich doch mir aus, als die ganze Welt ist mein. Schlaf, mein Kind, schlaf, mein Kind, soll's nur leben in sein Gesind. Ai, lu, lu, lu. Ai, lu, lu, lu. Wenn ich will amol darfen auf jener Welt gehen, willen teuren Finnen Gnäden, fahr mir offen stehen, weil die mein Kind, wes einer Frimme in a Gitter, wird mir suchen auf jener Welt, los da rein dem Zodigs Mitte. Schlaf, mein Kind, schlaf, mein Kind, sollst nur leben in sein Gesind. Ai, lu, lu,
Die fuhrt dazu kin klein Zavaler, direkt bis kin Grudek. Und auf Schabe sich sem Reb Sudek. Heute Sudek is a Jida Lampen, hat a Boi hat Zenten. Vakant is a der Kind spielen, auf alle Instrumenten. Oi singt sich dabei, Simbel, 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 Sudek, finns av alle bis kin Grudek, oi weh is mir tatten jo. Simbel, 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 Sudek, finns av alle bis kin Grudek, oi weh is mir tatten jo. Beim Rebner so leben, is gewein a Gitter Shabbos. Oit Sudek hat gehabt Shirayim, mit beide Labes. Ha gebracht hat sein Babel, a Jmenje meirn Simes. Immer zu oi weis mir, hat Symbol und Strunes. Jotzi geht Simbel zu Deck, für der Walle bis kein Grudek, oi weis mir tatten jo. Oi Jotzi geht Simbel zu Deck, für der Walle bis kein Grudek, oi weis mir tatten jo. Oi Jotzi geht Simbel zu Deck, für der Walle bis kein Grudek, oi weis mir tatten jo.
Jake Schulman Men.
A love ballad. Noi papir izach vas, tenet izach schwarz. Zidir man teier Leben, es brennt in mir mein Herz. Ich wollt nicht geschlafen, dran der Reihen a kistin dan schöne Peinemel, en der holten Badein Hoi Weihnachten bin ich hier, auf a Chossen Mul gewein. In viele schöne Mädelach, hab ich dort gesehen. Wie viele schöne Mädelach, Immer Sonne kommt mir vor, mit ihrer schwarzen Kegelach, mit ihr schönem Rasgavor. Oi dein Tali, dein Figuri, dein schöne edler Fasson. In meinem Herzen brennt a Feuer, keiner seht nicht dem Flom. In meinem Herzen brennt a Feuer, keiner seht nicht dem Reuch. Hoi 3 Uhr sie warten auf dir, ich hab schon nicht keine Keuch. Hoi wei einer beit auf Kleider, in der zweiter beit auf Geld. In der dritter beit auf Mosel, in der vierte auf a Gitterwelt. Nur ich beit auf a Schibale, auf dem Gruß dem Grünen. Als ich mit meinem Teier leben, soll wohnen in der Ihnen. Nur ich beit auf a Schibale, auf dem Gruß dem Grünen. Als ich mit meiner Teier leben, soll wohnen in der Ihnen. Sorry. Thanks.
We lost it.
So we've been singing a lot and playing a lot of traditional music. Something that's very important to us in this tradition is to move it forward. Otherwise, it's going to die. And so most of us and many of the people kind of practicing this kind of music nowadays are composing new melodies, writing new songs, bringing it into different veins, whether it's mixing it with other styles of music or just composing new music or contemporary music, we can say, in this style. So now we're going to do a kind of abbreviated suite of what a typical East European Jewish wedding would have been. But much of the music we're going to play is newly composed music, either by myself or by Michael. And Michael's going to play the role of a badchen, which is the traditional wedding jester, somebody who would kind of mostly improvise words about the wedding guests, about the bride and the groom. Yeah. So, and what many of you may or may not know, often Eastern European weddings in general, not just Jewish, but Jewish as well, are not only supposed to be celebratory, happy occasions. There's also an element of loss of your youth, loss of a lot of freedom that you had before. So there are also a form of mourning, and the Badchen helped with that. And it was said that a good fiddler can make all the guests and the bride cry. So I'm going to try to get out your Kleenexes.
Right, this is from the days when people cried at weddings. Also, I guess some people still do cry at weddings. So, jester is a little misleading term. Hark. So sagt der Badchen, koidem achepe. Oi, wo so das Faraminig als der Badchen rät mit Misholem. Sog ich hier ayoi, maze, niftech asvorim. Oi, schereit im Wein, takali mit Regen amorem. Mit darf sagen li man neymar li fonecho man edaber yeshev amorei spiel ze klemorem ton oi shat macheton imali mir geim bazetzen die sei mit die kali. Wir sitzen da in Kennedy Center nehmen ihr zu losen die blonde Haut. Oi, wünschen sollt ihr alle so sein, a gleiche Pot. Hopp, 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 wie weit spielt der Kulturmarsch, a Hippemarsch. все, давайте. Thank
Michael
you.
Alpert.
Jake Solmankind on violin, Pete Reshevsky on cymbal, Ethel Raham
Sitting in a chair.
on vocals. Thank you. Now I'd like to sing a final song for you. Now. We're gonna finish up with a song that's from.
I haven't seen Michael so out of breath since the last time we found out a new taqueria opened up on the Upper West Side, and he ran to it with me.
Yeah, right. I'm a Californian. I play a New Yorker in a band, and have done so for a lot of years. Yeah, órale, okay. Bueno, es mi carnala, yeah. So we're gonna finish with a song that's a traditional song for the end of a Jewish wedding. I know it from a woman who is a wonderful treasure of East European Jewish folk life, the late Bronya Sakina, who came to this country in 1980 from the Soviet Union and lived in Brooklyn and taught us all a lot about the old ways and about how to adapt to new ways and kind of how to live a good life. So this is Es ist schon spät. It's a traditional wedding processional home tune at the end of a wedding from the shtetl of Olvanisk, also as it's known in Yiddish, Olvanisk in Ukrainian, in southwestern Ukraine, from Bronya Sakina. Es ist schon spät, it's already late. Take me home, but don't let anyone see us. And davai, this is it. Thanks a lot. Thank you all for coming to hear us. Thanks all for coming at the Kennedy Center. Ashenim dankay. Thanks a lot. And lomazach zan af simches. May we see each other on happy occasions and times of peace. Es ist schon spät, für mach op a heim, für mach a heim, als keiner soll nicht sein. Es ist schon spät, für mach op a heim, für mach a heim, als keiner soll nicht sein. Tararararariam, tarararararariam, tararariam, 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 yarararararam. Schreit schon der Huhn, die sind mit der Livune, tonschen schon in Kuhn, jetzt tun schon, es kräht schon der Huhn. Die sind mit der Livune, tonschen schon in Kuhn. Tarariarai, tarariam, tarara, tararada, tarariam, tararariam, tararariaram, tarariam, tararariam. Tararai, tararariam, tararararai, tarariam, tararariam, tararariam, tarariam, tarariam. Spielen wir auf Peppes. Thanks a lot. Be well. Come to the Smithsonian Folklife Festival on the Mall, which is out in front of the castle, yeah? Is that where it is? And we'll see. Should we play? Let's play another tune to go off. Yeah, Davai, go into something. We're going to play one more tune. Davai.
Jake Schulman-Ment, Ethel Rame, Michael Alpert, and I'm Pete Reshevsky. Thanks so much for coming out to the Kennedy Center tonight. And if you're driving home, don't forget your car. Thanks very much.